Everything in this video is found on a public domain. The full disclaimer is down below. Hey, welcome back to the Danger Zone. It's Ashley. I wish you lots of love and many blessings. Huge thank you to everybody that contributed to this video. Alright, y'all, listen. Thomas Markle personally went to Oprah's house. Hand delivered a note asking to be interviewed by Oprah. He wants his turn. He wants to share his story. He wants to share the truth. He says it's only fair that he also has a chance to sit down with Oprah and tell everybody nationally, internationally, around the world exactly what took place. He says it did not happen the way that Meghan's claiming it did. Everybody's busted both Harry and Meghan in all sorts of tales during that interview. Even before he had his heart attack, she was making all sorts of weird demands for him. Like, you've got to give up the family. You've got to ignore the rest of the family. They cannot be involved. They'll be expecting a little too much. And he told her, I can't do that. Those are my children. You're my child. They're my children. I don't know exactly where you're going with this, but they're my kids, and I'm not giving them up. Where was she going with that? It kind of tells on herself where her frame of mind was. Y'all, she herself knew going into this relationship her life was going to change for the better, financially, all the way around. So did she think that her siblings were going to get real greedy and start making huge monetary requests? It really makes me wonder, would her dad be sitting like in a way better spot today had he followed through with her plans and just brushed off his other children? He still doesn't understand why she is so mad at him. He didn't choose to have heart attacks right before a wedding, but she sure has punished him for it. He is so tired of being the bad guy in all of this. He doesn't think it's fair. It's coming from nowhere. He understands if he doesn't have a relationship with Meghan, that's heartbreaking enough. But he's demanding to see his grandchildren. It's just my opinion, but I don't think he needs to sweat any kind of grandchildren, not from Meghan. I don't think she has any. Not in her custody, not in her care, not from her womb. That entire situation's just way too bizarre. Here's the latest that's come out, y'all. Not only did they deny having access to mental health therapy, I don't understand why not. He's always in mental health therapy. He could have taken her along with him. Her own mama is a certified counselor / social worker / yogi / elderly care cash only. So there's absolutely zero excuse, even if the royal family had nothing accessible to her in the way of mental health, which has just been proven to be completely false. Just another tale. So anyway, now they're complaining that Meghan was never dressed properly, aside from the fact that they never schooled her on the etiquette or the behavior or the protocol. She was never allowed to dress. She had to go and do the best she could do, calling on friends and designers and friends of friends just to be clothed. They didn't want to give her a budget for clothing. That's just as wild as can be, because we know differently. That's insane. Charles raised the budget for their clothing I don't know how many times. Y'all, do you remember her getting in trouble? She got in trouble because she had Jessica and her staff call up all these, goofy designers with all these thousands of dollars worth of fabric that just lays on your back till it gets a stain, saying, hey, look, I'll make a deal. I'll wear your clothes if you send them for free. So what was she doing with that budget money? It sure wasn't spent on clothing. Y'all, this is just my personal opinion. That right there is a part of how Doria became a millionaire. Misappropriating funds that were given to her for a budget allowance, not being spent on clothes because she was already receiving freebies. So I think she was sliding that money into Doria's loving kindness, compassionate pocketbook. It was the Queen's top advisor that called her out saying, we don't do this. We don't advertise for anybody, not designers or anyone else in the royal family. We spend our budget. But the motto was, what Meghan wants, Meghan gets. And she continued doing that her entire time in the royal family. They should really investigate where that money went. Now it's being leaked out that Meghan wasn't the only one that was inflicting all sorts of horrible behavior towards the staff. Harry was caught and called down several times for raising his voice, screaming, barking, being so nasty to the palace aide. Evidently, Meghan was going back saying they're being mean to me. They're being nasty. And he would come out showing himself, defending her and her tales, acting a fool and embarrassing the queen. And they say no matter how bratty he was, growing up he was never nasty to the staff. This was a completely different side of Harry nobody expected. And another side to Harry nobody ever seen coming. Making money, capitalizing off of his mother in that accident. And making dang sure that the family knows where he stands. He feels they're responsible for it. Right after that wedding, I was contacted by somebody via email. And they told me Meghan was stuffing his head full of, the royal family being responsible for his mother's demise. So I sort of expected this to come out this way. There's a producer by the name of Ben Browning, and he produced a movie that talks all about Diana being, snuffed out by the royal family. Well, they hired this joker. He's the head of Archwell Foundation, as well as Archwell Audio. He owns the rights to that movie, and they are recreating that movie, you guys, with his help. It seems to me that Meghan's plan of feeding him this, Harry, has really played on his mental health. Speaking of, my buddy Jay says it makes sense now. Everybody has had suspicions about her telling, Harry's all sorts of just awful stuff in his ear about his mother and the royal family. They knew that Harry's mental health was on a decline from almost the beginning of their dating period even. Like somebody was fanning the flames of his anger. They would sit back and watch the transition. He slowly went from, the Harry everybody knew and was used to now this Harry that stays angry. Now the disappointment to all of this is the fact that Harry and William vowed as teenagers, as young men, they would never talk about the mother unless they each agreed on it and they were together. Out of respect for her legacy. Nobody ever seen this coming, not with Harry. They thought never in a million years would he ever try to profit off of his mama. I remember back about 3 years ago when they initially said they were going to either write a book about it, make a movie about it, and that helped fuel the fire between him and his brother. Just added to their separation. She knew exactly what she was doing. Remember when they supposedly had that J.P. Morgan event? That's how they made the money then, too. Sitting around talking about her for 15 minutes. Well, Harry cried. He's nothing more than, you know what he reminds me of? A ventriloquist dummy. That's what he reminds me of. And she has her hand up his backside. Now, speaking of mental health, this is about the craziest thing I've heard in a long time. But do you guys realize, even after all the strife and the mess they've kicked up with the royal family, not just with the royal family, but with Hollywood too, like Pierce walking out but coming back, Sharon Osbourne getting bullied off of the show for defending Pierce, they've made all sorts of problems. The royal household have always had a diversity program in place with the staff. Always. And when they caught wind, when Meghan and Harry caught wind that the royal family decided we need to up our game, we need to tweak it, we need to revisit this and update the program. Let's make it bigger and better. They want to hire a Diversity Czar. Listen, Meghan and Harry had reached out to the family. Now, they've been ignoring them all this time. But they actually had their people reach out to the royals and say, hey, look, we'd like to come on board and give you pointers. We'd like to be a part of this diversity program, this tweak and this update. Is that the craziest thing you've heard? Oh, no. That blew my mind. I thought then, when I read that, I said, wait a minute, pull the e-brake here. That's how absolutely insane and out of their minds they seem to be. The royal family was like, are you crazy? Yes, you are. No thanks, we don't need your expertise. I just still can't get over it. Y'all, what is going on here? I'm serious. When I read that, I just about flew in the floor. So, of course, Meghan gets mad. She's calling on all sorts of people, Harry, too. I'm not leaving him out. When I say Meghan, I mean them both. She's calling on all sorts of people, trying to get backed up by them, right? A lot of people they're calling on from her past. Man, these people are folks that she has burned, left in ashes, had nothing to do with them, dropped them right after she was finished with them. They don't want nothing to do with her or Harry or this. She finally did find somebody from her past, her recent past, to be on her team. She reached out to, of course, Hillary Clinton. And old Hillary said, yes, I'm on board. We don't appreciate the way you've been treated by the palace. Something definitely needs to be done. We're going to pair up and do something about it. So now it's being said that she and Harry, Hillary, and a few other people like Tyler Perry and Oprah are all coming together, and they're going to do something about it. A diversified mental health program they're trying to introduce to our government. My dad's always said those people that sit around calling everybody else crazy, those are the crazy ones. Beware those kinds of people. And as far as diversity goes, I'm old enough to know Hillary's past. I don't think she qualifies to lead a program like this. Y'all remember back in 2019, I believe it was, Hillary was called on by Sarah Latham for Meghan to come visit Archie. Come meet us up here in Frogmore. I'd like to introduce you to my little Bubba. And we all know there was a lot more to that meeting than just little Bubba. Which, by the way, if you didn't know, is Bill's nickname. Now, directly after she left Frogmore, she went over and had a secret meeting with William and Kate. So I was told by Jay yesterday there was more to that meeting than meets the eye. She was there trying to counsel the brothers because they had had such a huge falling out. Meghan felt like Hillary would save the day. And it was directly after that that William held a climate change talk with Hillary and Bill Gates. Do you guys find that as suspicious as I do, as my friend Jay does? The whole situation feels extremely strange because William and Kate didn't have on their books to meet up with Hillary after she met up with old Meghan at Frogmore. I think it's clear who the handlers are, who's backing these people. I'm curious as to what information they may know that they're using to control them, that's all. It sure doesn't give me a cozy, warm feeling. It's very creepy. I hope you're having a good day today. I appreciate you being here. I'll see you soon and we'll talk fast. Stay safe and be blessed.